And I think that's very important. I think the people previous us, they paid the way, but they didn't give back. There's a lot of famous actors and producers out there, and you're like, who do you help? That's why I love people like the Kevin Harts, the Tyler Perrys, the Will Packers, the 50 Cent that's helping new talent. We have a lot of great talents out there that paid the way for us, broke the door, but they didn't put no one up. And I think this generation is doing that. We helping more one another. You know, we started this podcast series to give a voice, to show y'all that you have to put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. Right. You have to help your neighbor. You have to help your peers. This should be like a duty. There's no reason to get in this business or any type of industry and make all this money, have all the success, and you're not giving back.
Right. We don't even have everything, and we're giving back.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. You're at the top of the food chain. You should be able to give back.
What's the worst thing that you was in a meeting, and they said something about you, or maybe they said that I don't think you're too smart, or because you're a woman? What's that worst feeling you ever like? What?
I think maybe last year I was pitching this very concept to an investor. Right. And he said that he thought it was a good idea, but he wanted me to come back with a partner.
Ooh. A man?
And yes, that was yes. And so I felt like, well, first of all, I don't need a partner, right? That's number one. And the fact that he alluded to the fact that I needed a male partner to make this happen, I found extremely offensive. But needless to say, he came for the VIP tour that we did here.
What did he say? What was his reaction?
And he apologized if I misunderstood, right? If I misunderstood, because that's always what it boils down to, right? But it wasn't a misunderstanding.
It wasn't.
And I walked away from there thinking, I'm going to have to do this alone.
Wow.
And I did.
And that's another thing about this business. You have to be your own best friend. You know, you have a big vision. Don't get mad. People's not going to see your vision. Nope. It's your vision. Right. Nope. Don't get mad. But, like you said, when it's up and going, they can buy a ticket to your premiere.
That's right.
And because what happens is artists are so sensitive, we seek that validation.
Right.
You have to be your own light when it's really, really dark.
Right.
Lester, what is your moment?
My moment?
No, you got one.
Well, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
This is unscripted conversations. I didn't plan on talking about this. So I recently produced a film called I Got a Call Back with my guy, Christopher Fox.
I saw that. That's a very
great
good
project,
film.
right?
Very
Great
good
film.
Yeah.
You would think everything was great on set. And wasn't the best experience of my life. And I'll just say this. We put out the project. It's been winning awards. It's been getting nominated.
It's a great project.
It's a great project. But some of the other cast members didn't share the same energy. But I didn't let that stop me.
Before or after it was made?
Before, during, after.
Okay.
They didn't share that same energy. And I almost felt like they didn't appreciate what I did for them. And now that it's winning more awards,
What'd you do for
they're
them?
starting to come around. Well, I funded the whole project. But initially, somebody else was supposed to go in on it with me, and it never happened. But I said, you know what? I want this project to take off, so I'm not going to just walk away from it. I'm just going to adjust myself and make it happen. That's what I did, like with you. You didn't give up. You didn't walk out and say, oh, well, I guess I can't do this anymore.
But I got to tell you this, right?
Yeah.
From someone who has been producing projects for years.
Okay.
You can't do it for them. You have to do it for you.
Right.
So what I've learned is that when I go in and I produce a project, I have to go in knowing that I'm doing this for me.
Right.
Because I want this story told.
Right.
Because I want the outcome to be X, Y, Z. Because there's always going to be that one ungrateful, difficult, complicated person.
Yeah.
And your money is on the line.
Right.
And when you're a producer, that's really difficult.
Yeah.
Because you're footing the bill and the attitude at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you're too far in, so now you can't
Back
get out.
You can't.
And now it's all about the deliverables. How do I get the deliverables so that I could, get my money back?
Right.
But you have to do it for you.
Right.
Yeah, and I think for me, when I first started in this industry, I had this guy tell me, "You're black. Unless you're a Spike Lee or another black filmmaker, you're not gonna make it." And when he said it, this was early 2000s. I was like, it was kind of hard not to believe what he said. When you turn on a cable channel, and out of 200 channels, it's maybe 5 make up of African American, Latino, or Asian content. So I had to reprogram myself and realize that when you're in any type of industry that's dominated, it's a market for everything. You really gotta listen to yourself.
Yep.
So if I didn't listen to that guy, I would be like, oh, I can't do it because of my complexion. We're not born. When we're born, we don't get the chance or the control of how we start. But we do have control how we end. Another thing I want to ask you is,
That's a hallelujah statement
yeah,
right there.
and I think
Praise God.
Yeah, and I think that's
Yes.
very important because we don't have control.
Yeah.
You know, we brought up in a crazy world,
Right.
but we still have that control how we're going to end this chapter. I think all of us here and everybody watching, we all making a book. The first chapter might be horrible. The second chapter might be really great. You're writing your own book,
Yeah.
and you decided what's going to be your last chapter.
Right.
Another thing I want to talk about, because a lot of people talking about it, do you ever deal with, or artists come to you, or you ever deal with mental health? Because I think a lot of artists, this is a rejection industry.
What do you mean, mental depression? Or
Yeah,
something? Oh, okay.
this is the rejection industry.
Right.
And I think a lot of artists,
Yeah.
a lot of times they don't even get to the next step because of that.
Yeah.
PTSD, a lot.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with it or knew someone that?
I know a lot of artists right now that are, actually not a lot, but I know 2 that are living in shelters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? And that's got to be hard on a lot of levels, right? It's one thing when you don't have money, right? It's another thing when you don't have money because of a choice that you made. And when they choose to follow their dream, and this is why monetizing is so important. You choose to follow this dream and you put everything on the line for that dream, and then you lose. You lose your house, your car, your family, right? Because it's hard for men who have to be providers to be pursuing this dream when they're expected to provide.
Right.
Right, and for women to be pursuing this dream when we're supposed to be home taking care of kids. So, and that's still the stereotype today, even today in 2018. I think that we do need to address that because rejection is hard. You know, I told the story about my daughter who started auditioning when she was like 3. And when she was like 6 or 7 and she would go and she really understood what was happening, she would say, "Mommy, did they call yet? Did they call yet?" And I started to tell her the production company went out of business, the place burned down, because I couldn't bring myself to say to her, "You didn't get the part."
Right.
Because I felt like it was already going to create issues in her. Because the one time I did say, "You know, you didn't get it. They went with the other girl." "But why, Mommy? Why? What's wrong with me?" And when a kid says to you at 6, "What's wrong with me?" That's the beginning of the end, right? And so I had to learn to help her deal with that and cope with that, and you know, with counselors and actors and other people who could set examples. Because the other thing is nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
That's another issue, right? If we all talked about what it's like to be rejected, what it's like to have nothing, what it's like to not get what you think you deserve. If we could have a conversation in our communities about these things, I think everybody would be much better served. Nobody wants to talk about that.
So mental health is very important, especially nowadays. You know, we see a lot of actors, we see a lot of artists that's social media is like the venting zone. And Lester, I know you see a lot of your peer actors online, you know, basically crying for help. I see it too. Tell me some things you be seeing.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what most people do, and this is just from an actor standpoint. "Oh, I booked this job. Oh, I'm going to California to shoot this movie. Oh, I got a call back. Oh, this and that." You never see actors post, "Oh, I didn't get the job. Oh, they went with somebody else. Oh, I was on hold for this commercial, but they decided to pick somebody else." So what I do is every now and then I post something about that. I'll say, "Listen."
The truth.
I'll put the truth. Exactly. I'll say I was on hold for this show and I didn't get it. Like right now, I'm on hold for 2 shows, High Maintenance and Bull, right? And if I don't get it, I'm gonna post and say, "Listen, I was on hold for these 2 shows. I was grateful for the opportunity to even audition, but I didn't get the roles. Because I want people to realize that it doesn't always end happily. You don't always get the job.
Yeah.
So basically, to my talent out there, don't fall into this false reality. I think social media allow you to create your own world. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is the thing you have to think about. If Instagram, Twitter, Facebook shut down,
What do you
where you
have?
go?
Ooh.
I started with nothing. I started before MySpace. That you really got to go out there and really touch your audience.
Yeah.
And a lot of my talent out there, don't get confused with the likes and views, because what happens is those ain't real consumers. When I do my premieres and stuff, I might have 100 likes, I might have 200 likes. It's all about who's gonna go off that computer, shut off, and go to your shows, support you, put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
And if you're all going through a depression, seek help. Talk to a friend, talk to a therapist, because what happens is we in this industry that you're gonna get 100 no's before you get your first yes.
Yeah.
And that internally could damage somebody's mind. What we're doing is not normal. It's like, it's not. You know,
We're special.
Yeah.
it's special because what happens is when you're doing this, you're going forward, and a lot of people go back because like, I gotta get a job, I got bills to pay. You know, one of my partners, Eugene, always tell me, you need a job and a dream. This is not 1990, this is not the 80s. I tell everybody, get a job. I know, especially for the actors, I know you don't wanna spend a lot of time in the casting room. Cut that out, because you're spending 80% letting someone to tell you if you're gonna make it or not. Cut that percentage up. Spend 80% on yourself and 20% in the casting room. Because to be honest with you, everybody have a certain look. If you're Caucasian, if you African American, if you're Latino or Asian, if you look at the demographic, look at the shows on TV, you know that, wait a minute, I have a low percentage. So take some of your money and produce your own short films. Start your own film festival. You know, being at Stuart Cinema Cafe tonight and being in her theater is amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This person took her money. When everybody say, F yourself, you're not good, it's okay, let me start my own theater. And also, what I want to ask you, and we could go around, for people that's watching this and they feel rejected, they feel like they're not going to go nowhere, what kept you going? What kept you going when things was like, oh, I think I want to make this?
Right.
When I was writing checks with the kids' college.
You ain't going to college today, baby.
I said to my kids, you better get scholarships because your college degree is like this wall is hanging here, the tuition, your meals are out in the cafe. Yes.
Yeah.
So what kept me going? I think I didn't give myself an option. Like there is no choice.
Yeah, no plan B.
The choice is I have to do this. And I don't know how, but I knew that I had to do it. And so I spent hours, and I had this whiteboard in my room, and I would write on it, and I would get up in the middle of the night, and I would draw a wall, and these red things you see here, I would draw them, and the screen, and all the chairs, and I would be like visualizing it.
I love it.
And then it was about, finding a space that met my budget, that I could bring this thing to life. But so I would erase, and then I would go back and draw more things, and then I would do numbers, and how much am I going to charge the artist, and how much am I going to make? Wow. And then when I started doing that math, I was like, okay, well, I can't just do the theater, because then I can't offer the prices I want. So half of my board was white. What am I going to put over here? There goes the cafe. And so it was all just sort of like a vision board, like they do. And it was just, I worked on it until it just, there was no option. That's all I could, it's kind of like when I was younger.
You're still young.
I'm still young, yeah. And I wanted to have children. And that thing about the clock ticking, that thing is real, right? And so that's all you can think about, because that's all that you want. And so for me, this thing was just, it's what I wanted. So there was no other way.
I love that.
And that's great, because I think everybody should have their own vision board.
Yeah.
What about you, Lester? What kept you going?
Well,
he's still going. Which I love about him.
I just have a refuse to lose mentality. If anybody knows me, I just really believe in myself. And of course, I might doubt myself here and there or feel a little dejected. But for the most part, I'm always moving forward. I feel like you just have to keep going. It's so important to just keep going, because things kind of work themselves out as you move along. But if you stop, then you have nothing, right? There's nothing left. So you just got to keep moving. Got to keep the wheels rolling.
And once you know how to get up, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's sort of like when you're learning how to roller skate
Right.
or ice skate and you fall. Once you know how to get up, you're not afraid to fall because you know how to get up.
Good point.
So,
And I think for me is I was in a shelter for a year, and being in a shelter, being homeless, that's a bad feeling. And then you have two options: you get a job, you retire at 67, you die, or you can have a life that you're like, wow, this was an adventure. Yeah, guys, this was unscripted.
Conversations.
unscripted, yes.
This was unscripted
This was
conversations.
unscripted. All the stuff that we talked about,
Yeah.
we didn't.
There was definitely no script.
Yeah, there was no script. No script. Just
So,
off the
guys, this is unscripted.
conversations.
Antoine Allen,
Lester Green.
Emelyn Stewart.
Film Courage. We out.